Workshop Wednesday. What's up, everybody? Having a good day? My hair messed up. Got a black on me. Had a couple ag teachers in here for the last couple days. Shout out to Rusty and Brian. They helping the young youth of America out, and they need a little continuing education deal. So they came in and we forged for 2 days. We beat on metal and kind of did some of the basic principles of blacksmithing. And initially we thought a little bit about bits and spurs. That was kind of their initial thought, but then we got into forging, and man, we did all kinds of fun stuff. And I'm kind of excited for the kids, see what they can do and get introduced to an old skill that's been around forever, I suppose, since they started beating on metal and shaping it into certain shapes. But it is certainly relevant in today's world, and certainly relevant in my industry and my trade. So a lot of fun. Thanks to Rusty and Brian for coming and listening to me jabber for 2 days. But anyhow, that's why we look the way we do. Workshop Wednesdays happen the way we are. A couple weeks ago, we defined a collector, and last week I talked a little bit about my role and what the maker has part in the collection and the collector deal. So now let's talk about the collector's role and how the value of the piece doesn't stop when I have it made and they purchase it. That's not the ending of the value. There's much more that happens, and the story in reality starts. And I talked a little bit about that last week, I think. But you know, there's ways that we work together between the collector and the maker here to increase the value of the piece. And so, yeah, as I continue my journey as a maker, my story grows, hopefully, and that increases the value of the piece, right? So once you've spent your money in buying the piece, my job is to continue to create more things and make my story as a maker grow. But then you as a collector, as you have the piece, your feelings and journey through life adds to the story of the piece as well. And so a lot of different ways that happens if you're using it, and you win your end goal as a performer with that piece. That certainly has a story. If you're ranching and punching cows and doing that, the stories that you gain through the piece, in use with the piece, that has value. If you stick it on the wall in your house and it's an ornamental, decorative aspect of your story of the West within your home, the interactions that you have with individuals that come in your home and see your home, that adds to the story. And some people, oh wow, look at that. Some people are going to understand exactly what they're looking at. Other people have no clue, you know. I mean, I can remember starting my journey and telling people I was a bit and spur maker, and they give that old border collie look, tilt their head at you like, what are you talking about? You know, spurs, jing, 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 going, oh yeah. So that interaction that you have with people and describing what's going on with the piece and the emotion and the feeling that it has within you, and I think that's extremely important. And something to maybe define and articulate a little bit here is I have friends that they're Western people, you know, they love the West, but honestly, bits and spurs and the things that I create don't create an emotion and a feeling in them to make them want to purchase something. They spend way more money on other things like vehicles, you know, they buy a pickup every time they get the opportunity because it makes them feel good, it makes them happy. Well, if you are if you're happy, if it makes you feel good to have a bit or a pair of spurs, it creates emotion and feelings inside of you. And our relationship together in the creation of the pieces is a positive experience, right? The whole thing is a feeling, it's emotion. It's something that makes you better, makes you feel better about yourself. By wearing a Rolex, that phone that's sitting here recording this deal tells you what time it is, but a Rolex on your wrist can make you feel better about yourself. You know, you've accomplished something in life, it's a symbol to you. whether it's a symbol to anybody else, it has to start with you and your feelings. And there's going to be people that acknowledge that feeling. They see that feeling in you by owning the piece, whether it's the watch or the spurs or whatever it is. They acknowledge that feeling in you, and they're happy for you, right? They're happy for you. So that helps your story. That makes you feel good about yourself too. And there's other people that don't care, like my friends that are buying pickups. You know, I'm happy for them. I see the emotion in them. I don't like pickups, so you know, I mean, it's a mode of transportation for me. So I don't enhance their story a whole lot, probably, which is bad. But I do see that emotion in them, and I'm happy for them. I'm happy for those individuals that like those things. And so just remember the feeling that the piece gives you, and then your sharing of that feeling and emotion through your journey of life adds to the story. It adds to the value of something. I have pieces that I frankly wouldn't sell, right? I guess everything has a price, but man, there's just some things. I have my great grandfather's spurs. You could give me, and they're collectible things, you know, they're made by a well-known maker, and there are individuals out there that would collect that piece because of the name of the person that built that piece, but that doesn't satisfy the value for me, because my great grandfather had it, and they used it, and that's a connection and a tie to me that increases the value. And the reason I want to collect that piece and have it and keep it in my possession is because it means something to me. There's feeling and story that is enhanced the collectability of it. So a lot of different ways that we work together as makers, and you know, and something that I can do too as a maker that it's going to help you as a collector as I go and go about my journey as a bit and spur maker, and I do certain pieces that have certain significance and value to other people. Well, that also adds to your story as a piece. So one thing that another side street I'll go down here is collectors tend to invest at two different levels of a maker's career. So we all like the Cinderella story, the underdog. And so there's a lot of young makers out there just doing incredible work. And there are certain individuals that like to buy from the little guy, right? They like to buy from the up and comer because they know and they predict that talented individual is just going to improve and grow and grow and grow through their story, through their journey as a bit and spur maker or a maker. So they're investing, they're hedging that as that person gets better and improves in their career, that piece that they bought in the beginning stages will have more value. There's also collectors that tend to be more observant and watching an individual grow through their career, and they're taking notes on how the journey is progressing and the story that maker is creating. I know there were people that I've known for 10 and 15 years that just watched me, right? They just watched me go, and we became friends, but they weren't interested in buying anything. And then all of a sudden they show up, and the first thing they spend is $10,000 or $15,000 on a piece because they're interested in where I have arrived in my journey. They're interested in collecting that value. And so two different ways to go about it. And I have noticed how as I'm reaching this point in my career, there are certain individuals that are coming in, and then there's some that have stepped back and gone away. So I'm all the time trying to help those individuals that aren't interested in the stage of my journey that I'm in, and create an emotion and a feeling. But yeah, there's two different spectrums there, and of course there's people in the middle. There's some that started in the beginning, and they're still purchasing with me. They've transitioned from the beginning stages of the Cinderella underdog to where I'm at now in my journey, and the way they go. But a lot of different places to collect, reasons to collect, and ways to collect. So anyhow, remember, it's how you make you feel. I hope Workshop Wednesday makes you feel good. We'll see you next week. Adios.